We'll give it another minute or two and then we'll start off. Okay, let's get started. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the information session of the University of Miami, where we will be going over a few of our different programs. This information session will be about an hour or so. We will be sending you an email at the end or by tomorrow of the recording
of the session itself. At the end of this session, we will be answering any questions you may have, so please feel free to use the Q&A feature to ask any questions during the session itself. And my name is Elisa Milan, so at the end, you can discuss with me any registration questions, enrollment questions, whatever it may be, and for you to also earn your discount in order for you to enroll into the program. We have various ways that you can connect with us on social media. We have on Twitter @ContinueUM. We have Facebook.com/UMDCIE. We also have Instagram @UMiamiDCIE, and then our LinkedIn.com/school/DCIE. The Division of Continuing International Education at the University of Miami aims to empower people to reach their full potential through lifelong and life-wide learning with more than 70 credit and non-credit programs. The division creates continuous learning experiences that transform individuals, organizations, and entire communities. You can learn more about our programs at our website, which is opa.dcie.miami.edu/pro certificate. You will see the link as well in the chat box here. We will be discussing today some of the we will detail the key features and areas of focus of the following University of Miami certificate programs, starting off with the patient advocacy, sports medicine, physical therapy aid, hospice and palliative care, medical office administration, medical billing and coding. We will examine the connections between the program learning and career readiness to embark on a variety of professional career paths. Please welcome Ms. Ruth Hernandez. She is our lead instructor for the Patient Advocacy Certificate. Ruth.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Can everybody hear me? Yes, hi, welcome. It's my pleasure to be here this evening and to introduce myself and to speak about patient advocacy. My name is Ruth Hernandez. I have been with the Division of Continuing and International Education since 2018. And I'm currently the lead instructor for our online patient advocacy certificate program. My background is mostly with the elderly population. I studied psychology for my bachelor's degree. And originally I was interested in health psychology and I wanted to help sick patients, that connection between the mental health of an individual and the physical health of an individual. That relationship always intrigued me very much and always interested me. And as part of my education, I started becoming interested in the hospital systems, and I decided to pursue a master's in healthcare administration. I did my residency program at the VA here in Miami, where I reside. And after that, I managed a spinal cord injury center for veterans and for non-veterans as well at the VA. And so from there, I went on to a corporate company, which is the largest Medicaid company in the state of Florida, a Centene Corporation. And basically there I just grew in management. I started off after my bachelor's in case management and ultimately on to becoming a supervisor for the long-term care program. So, you know, I have patient advocacy experience, not only on a personal level, being an advocate at about the age of 18 for my own, starting with my own family, but ultimately my interest and passion for patient advocacy eventually led me into this field. And really it It's a pleasure for me to engage with the students and to see the different backgrounds and to educate everybody on this subject and the important issue that we have at hand in this complex healthcare system that we have right now here in the United States and in many, over many parts of the world. We are lucky to have the resources that we do have, but many times it becomes overwhelming, and especially for a patient that is experiencing a disease. Many of these patients don't have any family members that can help them, don't understand the system themselves. Even the healthcare professionals within the hospital that are supposed to be helping these patients, they're overwhelmed. They don't have enough time, and there's just not that connection, that relationship that's built with the client in order for them to make informed decisions and for them to receive the best care. So that's a little bit about how I started off in the healthcare industry, and just my passion for helping others and specifically with their health on every level. So I want to talk a little bit about the program. And what I love about the certificate program is that it could be for someone that has no experience whatsoever in the healthcare industry and that just wants to have a complete career change and just wants to jump in, and they've either gone through a bad experience themselves or in healthcare or with someone that they love. They just they were a caregiver for somebody that has passed away, and now they want to continue helping others with the lessons that they've learned or with the experience that they have. So what I love is that it could be for anyone that has, no experience, entry level, somebody who was working in another completely type of field, or someone that already has healthcare experience, whether it's a nursing background or as a tech. Just to give you some examples, ultrasound, MRI, things like that, so that they already had some type of role within the healthcare system. So it's just, it's welcoming to all types of individuals, and truly, because the common denominator that we have here is to champion and support, to be a champion for our patients and the clients, and to provide these professional services to them as a patient advocate. So the way that the program is structured, it's divided into 8 modules, and each module consists of 2 weeks. And I'm going to, I don't know if they have the information for the modules, or if you want me to go through them specifically.
You can go through them specifically. The next slide will be for the goals of, what to look for.
Okay, right, perfect. So just to go really quick, and I hope you understand the range that the certificate program offers. We start with basically just identifying the role of a patient advocate, what if patient advocate can do, what they cannot do, what are the possibilities as far as helping with bills, finding resources, research, educating the client, making sure that they're understanding all the medical information. And that moves on to understanding the basic medical knowledge. And then, of course, how to communicate with the clients, with communication differences, how to conduct interviews. So how to conduct an interview when you have a client. We also have a module on ethics and advocacy, ethical issues throughout the lifespan. We look at quality care and patient safety as well. And we have a module that is concerning healthcare financing. So we go through the different types of healthcare insurances, HMOs, PPOs, the point of service plans. So just to make sure that everybody has a good understanding of all of these insurance plans. And of course, we have modules that includes Medicare and Medicaid. What are the benefits under Medicare and what are the benefits under Medicaid? And then towards the end of the program, we have professional and business development. So if you're interested in developing your own business, opening your own consultation, your own practice, you can gather some information from this module. And we even have assignments where we talk about mission, vision, value statements, and basically we just, we have Zoom meetings, and I love to get to know the students. What are their goals? What do they need one-on-one help with? What questions do they have? And that brings us to the goals of the program. I'm glad that you moved the slide, Alyssa. So we want to be able to, like I said, offer those that are already in the healthcare field or they're already working as advocates. We want to be able to offer an opportunity to enhance this knowledge that they come with, to discuss the certain rules and regulations that patient advocate needs to follow. And we also want to create that foundation of knowledge for students and individuals that are coming on board that do not have any healthcare knowledge and are not coming from the healthcare industry. So, yeah, and throughout the course, we have assignments that will help you use the concepts that are discussed in the modules. And it really helps the students like dig as deep as they want to dig into these topics and how much knowledge they want to acquire. So it's very interesting, and it's also good for those individuals that do have a full-time job and they need that flexibility where they could work at their own pace, when they have the time. So it's not a program that you need to be at a specific time. You need to be online.
Thank you.
So am I missing? So yeah, basically, I would point you in the right direction as far as what questions you have about taking the exam. The University of Miami does not offer the exam itself. This exam is offered by the Patient Advocate Certificate Board. I have a direct relationship with the director with that board, and I communicate with her with any questions that the students have. And they're the ones that offer their certification to be board certified as a patient advocate.
Thank you, Ruth.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Now, again, you guys, anybody that's attending right now, you are able to ask any questions in our Q&A feature. So please feel free to ask any questions, and we will be getting to them at the end of the session. Now, I would like to welcome Susan Davis, who will go over the rest of our medical professional certificates. Susan.
Thank you, and thank you so much for having me this evening. A little bit about me. I am a physical therapist, just came home from work. I've been a physical therapist for 33 years. I have a doctorate of science in physical therapy. I've been teaching online classes for 14 years, and I've been teaching at the University of Miami in the Division of Continuing and International Education for 7 years. I also hold 2 different certifications in medical billing and coding, and we will cover that program a little bit later. So all of the programs that I will be speaking to, again, just like the other program we just talked about, is broken up into very specific modules. Each class has video presentations that take the place of lectures. We have reading assignments. We have interactive learning tools to help check for understanding. They cover the presentations and the reading. We have some assignments to reinforce the reading. And prior to taking the section quizzes, there is a practice test that can be taken as many times as you want. The program is meant to be very dynamic. There's lots of things to look at, lots of things to click on, lots of activities to mesh with different learning styles. So it is very dynamic, and just like the other program, it's the timing is flexible. You have your start date and your end date, but between those two, as long as you get your work done according to the mapped out plan of when things are due, you can do them anytime, day or night. So it's pretty flexible. So we're going to start by talking about sports medicine. This is a topic that's very near and dear to me. I started out as a physical therapist in sports medicine. This program is designed for just about anybody, really. You can think outside the box here. Anybody that likes sports, wants to get involved in sports medicine, wants to know more about how to prevent injuries, and how to get athletes back on the field or back into their sport. This program works really nicely for people who might be coaches at any level, children, high school, college, any level of coaches, athletic directors. They don't always know a lot about sports injuries. Someone who might want to work towards becoming an athletic trainer, anybody in rehab. So physical therapists, physical therapy assistants, occupational therapists, physical therapy aides, nurses who work for sports medicine doctors, school nurses run into a lot of sports injuries, nutritionists who likes that sports medicine field, massage therapists, really anything you can think of. This is a really good foundation for understanding a lot about what goes into why people get injured and how to help them get better. So in the program, we start off by going over anatomy. Not everybody has a great foundation of anatomy, so we go through that. We go on to cover medical care and supervision of the athlete. This includes pre-participation physicals, essentials of sports nutrition, supplements, pain management, understanding the effects that medications have on the system. A lot of medications affect the cardiovascular system. And so it's important to know when you're working with an athlete, how their medications affect their ability to participate. We talk about mental health. We go into specifics about certain athlete populations, men and women, they're different athletes. Children are different from working with seniors. Disabled athletes have their own challenges. So we talk about that. We go on to cover strengthening and conditioning. We talk a lot about environmental factors in sports. Athletes, they tend to exercise in extreme heat, and we need to be able to recognize symptoms of problems and how to avoid heat exhaustion and heat injuries. Some athletes exercise in extreme cold, and it's important to know how to handle those problems. High altitudes, all these things affect how the body functions. Then we go over the most common injuries in 4 of the most common sports that are played in our country: football, baseball, basketball, and soccer. We talk about how these injuries happen and how to help athletes recover from them. We then have an independent study module where the participant can choose 3 additional sports that they might want to look more closely at. The textbook that we use covers maybe 25, 30 different sports. And this is an opportunity for the participant to pick the sports that mean the most to them and study those a little more closely. I believe they have everything from badminton to running and hiking, hockey, floor hockey, all kinds of sports. So there is an opportunity for the participant to dig deeper into the sports that are most important to them. So this is a list of our program outcomes. It's a lot of what we just talked about. There's a focus at the beginning on anatomy and physiology to make sure the foundation is there. We talk about exercise science and health promotion, strength training and conditioning, the physiology of sports and athletes, understanding sports nutrition, and how nutrition affects the performance of an athlete. All right, physical therapy aid. Another topic that's near and dear to my heart. Getting a job as a physical therapy aide can be quite competitive for a few reasons. I think a lot of people just look at physical therapy as being pretty cool, right? People get hurt, you help them get better. There's a lot of interest, basically, in physical therapy. Also, anyone who wants to get a degree in physical therapy assisting or physical therapy, they need to log a certain number of hours as a physical therapy aide or a physical therapy volunteer, even to apply to a program. So there's a lot of people out there who want to log those hours, and by having a certificate in the physical therapy aid program just really elevates your ability to get that position. So our program is for the entry-level physical therapy aid. And the things that we cover in the program consists of medical terminology, because you really have to be able to speak the language, right? So medical terminology is really important to know so that when you're working with the physical therapists and the doctors, you're understanding what's going on. We have a module on anatomy and physiology. We go on from there to talk about exercise and the most common exercises that physical therapists use. We have a lot of videos in that particular module. We go over therapeutic modalities. Those are things like ultrasound, electrical stimulation. The physical therapy aid is very important in setting those up and getting them ready for the physical therapist. So it's important to understand what their uses are and what their purposes are. We talk about preparing and assisting patients. So if you work in a hospital setting, a physical therapy aide might be the one that's responsible for going to get the patient out of their room, get them ready, safely transfer them to a wheelchair, and bring them down to the physical therapy gym. So we go over how to assist patients in getting to physical therapy. We have a module on specific topics that are important for the most common problems that we see in physical therapy: hip replacements, knee replacements, stroke, amputations, things like that. So we have a module that's specific to talking about those problems. And then we also talk about the administrative role. Some physical therapy aides have responsibilities when it comes to scheduling, ordering inventory, keeping the supplies stocked and ready to go. So we go over those topics as well for the physical therapy aide. And then the next program I'd like to talk about is hospice and palliative care. So this is a very rewarding field. Hospice means that you care for somebody at the end of their life. Usually they like people to be in the program for 6 months, but sometimes it's just a matter of days. But it is about caring for somebody at the end of their life. Palliative care is often the same team, but the approach is different. Palliative care is the care of chronic diseases. So you might have liver failure, for example, or kidney failure, and you may have more than 6 months of life. So palliative care helps you manage the symptoms so that you have the highest quality of life possible. And then you may move into hospice care later. So this program, again, it's really open to the imagination. Anybody that wants to participate in caring for people at this very vulnerable time would be appropriate for this program. So on the hospice and palliative care team, usually it is nurses, nursing assistants, rehab professionals like physical therapists and occupational therapists. Sometimes speech therapy gets involved when people have difficulty swallowing or speaking. Pharmacists, social worker, clergy members. Also, Medicare requires that every hospice and palliative care program has volunteers. It's actually a requirement to get paid. So this is a wonderful program, even if you just want to be a volunteer, and going into that volunteer work, knowing as much as possible about palliative care. So again, it's very meaningful work. Our program talks about how patients are evaluated. We talk a lot about family dynamics and who's going to care for the patient. There are decisions that need to take place during this phase of life, and the team needs to be prepared to have these discussions. They're not easy. So our program talks about strategies and having these difficult conversations. We talk a lot about managing symptoms, the biggest one being pain. Every disease that's at its end stage has a wide variety of symptoms, and the entire hospice and palliative care team needs to help moderate those symptoms to maximize quality of life. We go into detail about most of the major diseases that can lead to the end of life and how to help patients manage these diseases, and what to expect, because it's scary. And so the team helps educate and helps people to know what to expect. We go into psychosocial issues, how people deal with death, the stress that's involved, the loss of control, things like that. There are cultural issues because people from different cultures have different beliefs, about the death process. There are religious differences in how people handle death. We talk about the families and loved ones. They have needs too. So we support everybody in hospice. They need a lot of support, a lot of education, and that's what the hospice team is there to do. Most hospice programs, also cover bereavement and support families through grief. Also, caring for someone in hospice is hard. It's difficult. So burnout is high. So we talk about how to help caregivers manage their stress, and the hospice staff can also experience burnout. And they can experience something that we call compassion fatigue, where you start to lose that sense of empathy, and that's not good. So we talk about how to handle that. There are two certification exams that our program prepares the participant for through the Hospice and Palliative Care Nurse Association. So one certification is for nurses and LPNs, and the other one is for nursing assistants. So we have an optional module in our program that helps the participants prepare to sit for one of those examinations, should they desire to do that. And the next program is Medical Office Administration. So this is the first impression when you go to a doctor's office, right? We all go to the doctor and the person behind the desk is there, and it's the first impression. They are responsible for greeting patients, collecting co-payments, collecting information, answering questions about the visit, scheduling appointments in the office, other appointments outside the office, such as surgeries or x-rays, MRIs, things like that. There's scheduling involved. Depending on the office, there might be some responsibilities connected with billing, inventory, filing, just generally organizing the office. So this is a hot job. All you have to do is go to Indeed and or whichever site you want to search and look for medical office assistant or medical receptionist, and there are many jobs. So there are also many applicants, so having this certification puts you at the top of the list. So within this program, we start off with medical terminology. You have to be able to talk the talk, right? So talking to nurses and doctors, you need to understand the lingo. We go on to talk about medical ethics and the law as it pertains to medicine. We talk about ethics and morals associated with being in healthcare. You know, you've probably heard of HIPAA and all of these very important concepts when working with somebody's health information and protecting it. So we talk a lot about protecting health information. We go over how to communicate effectively, verbally, and in writing. We talk about managing the medical office. That includes handling phone calls, knowing how to triage the most important calls, handling difficult patients, documenting communication, handling patient privacy again, opening the office in the morning and closing an office in the evening, supply inventory, handling computer basics, the patient portal, other office equipment such as fax machines, printers, copy machines, etc. We go over how to create medical records and how to organize them and the different types. We go over scheduling and the different types of scheduling methods. We go over the different types of medical insurance. There's a lot of variety there, and it's important to understand these programs. We do a little bit of medical coding. It's important to know the basics. We talk about billing procedures, and we talk about banking concepts. This program has two different types of certifications that the participant can pursue. One is called the Certified Medical Administrative Assistant, or CMAA. This is through an organization called the National Health Career Association. So our program prepares you to sit for that exam. And we do have some practice tests, a module of practice tests that you can take as many times as you want to prepare for the exam. The other certification that this prepares you for is called the Certified Medical Office Assistant through the National Center for Competency Testing. So our program prepares you to sit for either one of these certifications. And there's lots of practice at the end of the program. So having this, the certification from University of Miami, and that is fantastic. It really adds to your credentials and makes you a very strong job candidate. And then you have the option of sitting for the certification through one of the two regulatory bodies. And then the last program I'm going to talk about is medical billing and coding. The program is designed very closely aligned to preparing for the CPC, Certified Professional Coder certification, through the AAPC. So it's very closely designed to what is going to be on the test. We cover a lot of medical terminology. We go into anatomy and physiology. We talk about disease pathology. It's very important to have these foundational concepts, not only to be able to code, but also to understand medical reports and understand coding manuals and exactly what they're asking for, because it's all medical terminology, it's all anatomical. So there needs to be a very strong foundation in those topics. And also on the test, they will come right out and ask you, what does this word mean? They will test your medical terminology and your understanding of disease. And then the program goes on to cover diagnostic coding, procedural coding, and HCPCS coding. So those are the three different types of codes that medical billing and coding specialists need to understand. And then we have a module that is specific to preparing for the exam. It's a lot of practice tests to give you that readiness to sit for the examination. Again, all you have to do is search for medical biller and coder on a job website, and they're really looking. Lots of job openings, but you really, very few of them will take on people that aren't certified. So getting a certification, the CPC certification, it's really essential, and the jobs are out there. That field is very hot and it's very wide open. So I think that was it for me.
Yes, thank you so much, Susan.
Sure.
Really appreciate it. If you can both hang back just in case there are any questions that you can assist me with answering. So if you guys are ready to make the commitment today, you will be reaching out to me, Elisa Milan. I just want to go over a few little details about the classes and the upcoming starts. Our class sizes are limited, so you want to enroll the sooner the better to ensure that you reserve your seat. If you see here, all of the classes say that they are flexible. What that means is that there isn't any live instruction. You will have a point of contact, whether it be Susan or Ruth. So you won't be left alone to do this by yourself. But the only requirement will be that you do complete your assignments as they are given to you on the due dates that they require to be turned in. As you see here, all of the programs do start Monday, October 17th, which is coming up. You have sports medicine, the physical therapy aid, hospice and palliative care. You have medical office administration that all start on the 17th of October and will end December 16th of 2022. Then you'll have patient advocacy that starts October 17th on Monday as well, but will end February 26th in 2023. And then you have medical billing and coding that will start again October 17th and will end February 17th, 2023. For the tuitions for our medical professional certificates, we have sports medicine, that's $1,995. We have physical therapy aid, that is $2,995. We have hospice and palliative care at $1,995. We have patient advocacy at $1,500. We have the medical office administration at $3,495. And you have the medical billing and coding at $4,995. We are offering a discount, which will be of a $200 discount for our program. So if you are going to register, I would say to create your account, add your course to your cart as soon as possible, and contact me, Elisa Milang, again, and you'll see in the chat my information as well on the rest of this slide. You will contact me so that I can add that discount to your cart before you make a payment. You have to make sure to remember that I will need to add that discount before you make your payment. We do, talking about payments now, we do have 3 different forms of payment. The first being to pay the program in full, of course. The secondary one will be a payment plan, which is our promissory payment plan. The promissory payment plan, depending on the length of your program, will be the length of your monthly payments. You will pay an initial deposit or an initial payment, let's call it, in order for you to be registered in the course. You would sign a promissory note agreeing that you will be paying the remainder, broken down into, it could be anywhere from 1 month to 4 months, depending again on the length of your program. The third option will be the private educational loan. This can be done through your own personal bank or any other bank or somebody like Sallie Mae. And that is something that I will work with you. If you are choosing to go down that route, there will be some other steps that we will need to take in order to make sure that you are registered. If that is the option that you would like to take, being that the class does start Monday, we would say to try to get that done as soon as possible so that we can ensure a smooth and a smooth registration process, let's call it that. Okay, now here we will answer any questions. If there are any questions that you may have, again, my name is Elisa Milang. You have my email address here, as well as my direct phone number. You also have it in the chat, and you will have it in an email with this slideshow as well, with the Zoom call, so that you can also review it or share it with any of your friends or family that also may be interested in our program. So as of right now, I don't see any questions. So I would like to say thank you for attending our information session for our medical professional certificates. If you do have any questions, my email is always open. My phone line is always open. So please do not hesitate to reach out to me. Thank you, and I hope you all have a great evening.